Just bear with me and we will get kicked off. So we might wait. It's literally 7:01. So let's wait a few more minutes. Oh, one more person's coming in. Kate. Kate, hi. How you going? Oh, we can see you, but we can't hear you.
Hello.
Ah, there you go. And then Alicia's pouring in.
It's light.
Cool. Now just bear with me because we love you, Valerie, but we've got you on the big main screen. And I'm trying to figure out how to, usually it has me, whoever's talking, as the big main screen. So
I've got everyone at the same size.
Oh, do you?
Mm.
So is that what else is everyone seeing me?
Yeah, four images all the same size.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And two or possibly one audio.
Yes, we've got Alicia. Can you hear us?
I can. Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Are you able to share your screen? We are all sharing.
I am on my phone, so bear with me a second. It seems to be having a bit of a moment.
That's cool. Joey, I don't think you can because you've called in from your mobile. Is that right?
Yeah, on the phone, yeah.
Yeah, no worries. That's cool. If you can share, cool. If not, it doesn't matter. Like I've done plenty of these calls as a participant either way, and you get, just as much out of it either way. So that's cool. So we've got everyone on here who said that they were going to come. So that's great. We'll kick off. First of all, welcome. Can you believe that we now are in our second month of ABA? So I want to start today opening up the floor to things that you are celebrating. So what are some celebration, and not necessarily I got a client, which is obviously an obvious celebration, but has there been a mindset shift? Have you done things that were out of the comfort zone that you decided to do? Have you got a breakthrough? Have you got a client? Did you do a Facebook Live? Something that sort of propelled you forward. But before I do that, I will actually get Joey and Alicia to do a quick intro. This is their first call. They're obviously part of our ABA. You would have seen stuff about them on the Facebook group. So just briefly, who you are, what you're doing, or what you're looking to create. That'd be great. Do you want to kick that off, Joey?
Yeah, hi. I'm in Perth and I'm a mum of one. My daughter Charlotte's nearly 2. I've recently gone back to my full-time job, which has been quite hectic, and I'm looking to start my own business, hopefully from home. It's very early stages though. Just wanted to start it off with like a website and a blog and try and expand from there.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks for that, Joey. And Alicia, how about you?
Yes. So I am currently running a coaching and consultancy business, particularly for small businesses who want to move to that next level in their business, whether it is by structural change or culture or marketing. I kind of do a little bit of a map of the whole business from start to finish for more of a holistic change. I've been running my business for 2 years now, was in the corporate environment doing property, and decided that I needed to get out of that sort of harsh structure and move on to something where I can sort of be my own driver of where I want to go. So I'm really excited about doing that, but I feel like at year 2, I've yet to feel, I suppose, comfortable in where I am at my business and how I'm going to move forward to make it more of a full-time role rather than something that I have to combine with many other things to make ends meet. So I suppose that's where I'm at.
Great. Awesome. And thanks for sharing that, ladies. And you can get the intros from the others for the first call. If you haven't listened to it already, I won't make you ladies do that again. But basically, all of us, whether we've been in business for years, an older business, a current business, or we're just starting out, there's definitely some common themes. And the biggest beauty or the magic that happens on these calls is that we all come together, share where we're currently at, where we want to go, what might be holding us back, questions that we might have, practical questions or mindset stuff, and we all learn from others. But what happens on a deeper level is we realize, oh, we're not alone. We're not alone in this. Some of the stuff that you fear is what I fear too. So working together in a group's super powerful. And it's also knowing that there's your accountability buddies who are committing to taking action. They're doing their stuff as you are too. So that's the real purpose of these calls. What I'll do is I'll do something similar to what I did last week, which was open the floor to questions. But before the questions, please let me know what you're celebrating from the last couple of weeks. And I'll mix it up a little bit this week. Kelly, you went last time, so I'll get you to kick off today. Go for it.
Hello. I can't think of anything sort of massively significant. I suppose it's just I've just been bogged down in school holidays, and my husband was away for 10 days of the school holidays. So I knew that in advance, but I don't think I realised like how, little I got done of anything else. And then yesterday our house flooded. So it's not been a great week.
Okay.
Back at school.
Okay, that's intense.
Yeah, it's been like pretty full on. But I think also what it's sort of, the one thing that I sort of got from it is normally I would just freak out, stay up till 1 o'clock in the morning doing whatever I needed to get done. And I've actually gone, you know what, like if this is not someone telling me just to relax, go with the flow, 1 day, 2 days, in the scheme of things, everything else can wait. You can't change that sort of stuff. Can't stop a hot water service busting in the middle of the night and flooding the bathroom. Just can't, and it just gets worse because people went up on the roof and things were happening, and now the chimney's about to fall down, and then, the dog's like sick, and just everything happened yesterday. And by the end of yesterday, we just decided that yesterday was a terrible day, but I'm really quite grateful it was all in one day.
That's a doozy of a day, let me say.
The day. It took, honestly,
It's massive.
Things happened.
Yeah, that's one big thing. But the biggest takeaway I hear from that, which is such a good thing to develop further, is one bad day, one bad moment does not define the week.
No, but it has done.
Awesome. Oh, yeah.
And it can do. And look, I had a really rough weekend, Esther, as you probably know, trying to do that module 2. I don't think I've ever been that challenged in such a long time, but going through that and being challenged by that and crying over the fact that I didn't even know what my story was or who I was or what I stood for or what I was trying to help. I think I always knew what I was trying to help people with, but that also was amazing because that's created, I think I needed to have that and go through that. And then like today, if I did that unit now, which is ridiculous because I've done it, but it's done what it was supposed to do. Give me a lot of clarity about, what I do and who I am and why my clients come to see me.
That's awesome. And good on you for having the courage to do it.
It was bloody hard.
It's bloody hard, this self-discovery stuff and looking under the hood of our own car, so to speak, and go, ooh, that's hard. There's some stuff in all of our pasts that feels intense, and the whole thing of our journey and our story and where we've come from and how much we've achieved, that is a minefield. And what do a lot of people do? They don't want to do that because it's challenging. But this is the brilliance of what you offer clients is so often attached to your own story that it's empowering, especially with work that you do. Now, some of you I know are working with corporates or businesses, so you articulate your story and message slightly different than you would to a consumer who's looking for kinesiology, as opposed to Kate's crew who are looking for marketing services to grow their small business. But, and this is what I was explaining to a client today, they're growing their photography, or rather videography company. People buy from people. People buy when they feel like they're heard, listened to and respected, and that you have some kind of understanding of where they're currently at, where they want to go, and some kind of help to help get them from A to B. And that doesn't matter if they're buying a marketing package or a kinesiology package or an Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander coaching package or photography or whatever it is that all of you beautiful ladies are doing. The actual product doesn't matter. And I mean that with all due respect. Of course it matters. But what the essence underlying all of that is that the marketing and the sales process are two people who are being listened to, respected, heard, and feel understood. Even that your arborist, Kate, he is buying for that reason, whether he realizes it or not. That's what's happening on that deep human level. And so when we can showcase to people that we are real, we are authentic, our authenticity involves different aspects of our life that is not this sort of perfect image, then people go, oh, I can relate to this lady. What she says carries meaning. And in some of your cases, you know, particularly Kate, Kelly, with yours and what we had with your one-on-one the other day, is sharing your story is going to be really powerful because they'll identify so well with that. And they're looking for ways to find courage within themselves to reconcile who they are. And so if they see someone who's done it and is showing it in a way that's authentic and is also within your boundaries, you don't need to share anything that is outside of your boundaries by any means. It's not about getting on Facebook Live and sobbing and, you know, like telling all of your things. You tell what's relevant in that moment, and we'll cover more on what to share and how to share it as time goes on. But that takes massive courage. So, well done.
And I can say just from, you know, the clients that I have now, I mean, I have clients, you know, who come and lay on that table and they could be telling me the story of my life, you know, so I already see that, you know, just energetically you're attracting people just, you know, just even through referrals, it just feels right. You know, you're attracting people and they're telling you and you're just thinking, like, is this actually real? Like, how could this person be telling me, you know? So it's so true that you are attracting the people that, you know that you understand what they need.
Yeah, absolutely. And that you can connect with them. And this happens on a conscious level, a subconscious level, even an energetic level. And, you know, I think all of you are starting to piece the pieces of the puzzle together that I'm a disguised hippie. I might not dress it or sound like it, but I'm a big fan of a lot of this stuff. But whether you believe it or not, it doesn't matter so much. It's more about, and funnily enough, this is why this is called Aligned Business Accelerator. When we align our internal reality with what we want to achieve in our external reality, that's obviously where your business accelerates, right? So internally, if we are doing the work and being much clearer on who we want to attract as our ideal client, what we can offer them, what kind of transformation that provides, be clear on our package of services, when that's in alignment and we get that on a deeper level, funnily enough, people pick that up too in practical ways, like your message and marketing and what's on your website and how you articulate what it is you do. And then also on some of that spiritual, energetic level, they can feel it as well. So, yeah, trial it out, test it, see what you think. But there's a lot to be said about alignment along the way. I mean, even when you feel in alignment, you can articulate your story and what your offering is with a lot more confidence and clarity than you can when you're still like, I think, you know, people straight away just go, no credibility, doesn't know what they're talking about. That's what happens on that deeper level. So that's awesome. Is there any question you have at this stage, Kelly? It's okay if you don't have one now, we can come back to you.
No, thanks.
No worries. All right. Thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. Any comments or thoughts? You guys know that you can chip in anywhere along the journey if you want to. Who wants to go next rather than me prescribe it?
I want to hear from the new people.
Go you, Valerie. I like it.
I'll take one for the team.
Go, Alicia.
So I suppose this week I had one amazing moment, I suppose, for me is that I actually had a new client come up and speak to me about me working with them. And for the first time ever, I could actually speak about my business with confidence rather than being mumbling and bumbling about what I'm on about or what I believe in and how I'm going to help them achieve their goals. And I think the hardest part I've faced, I think previously, is having a lack of confidence, but not really knowing exactly where it's come from. And I think that's always been the hardest part. And when I had that moment where I was speaking to that client and I was sort of telling my story and it was all making sense, it was sort of a bit of a revelation. I was like, oh my gosh, I can actually really do this. So that was a really nice feeling. And I suppose, I think when you're kind of transitioning like we all are at the moment, having these sort of mini yay moments, if you want to call them, along the way really assists in building that momentum. And I think for me at this time, that momentum is really key because it's sort of, I was at that point, do I continue doing this business or do I just quit it because it's just getting all too difficult and I can't actually see the results of putting in all this time, effort, work behind the scenes and all the rest of it when there's sort of nothing coming to the fore. So, when Kelly was mentioning before, when you're attracting the right people, it feels good. Well, for me, this client interaction this week just felt good and it felt right and it wasn't, excuse the expression, but, pushing shit up a hill kind of thing. You're trying to make something work and it was just not fitting. And this seemed to really match. So that was nice and good and relieving.
That's the sound of the relief. That is awesome. Well done. That is so good because when you are pushing shit uphill for a couple of years and you really want it to succeed and you're putting in the work, but you're thinking, well, actually, is this the right work? And you second guess yourself and you know that there's a confidence piece there. It's so exhausting, right? And so having that clarity and then testing it, and this is the courage that all of you ladies have, is you learn some information, whether it's through this course, me or anyone else, but then you apply it. And that's the biggest difference between knowledge and wisdom, right? You can learn something from someone and it becomes knowledge. Read a book. Now I understand this scientific formula. No, not really. That's not my bag. But you know what I mean? Like you read something and you go, oh, okay, I get that. But until you then actually apply it, then it becomes wisdom because it's innately true for you. So you tried it. You thought, okay, what's this story business? Da, 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 da. Gave it a whirl, as a casual way to say it. And what do you know? It's worked beautifully. So massive courage to take action on something you've learned. So that's awesome. And sounds like you'll be getting a new client very soon.
Hopefully. I'm one step away from getting her over the line, but nonetheless, it's good. And it's just nice to know that I've got I can actually talk about my business without going, okay, what's my next sentence going to be about it? And I think that's really important because I think that lack of confidence from my perspective is being felt by other people. Sure. And then obviously impeding on how I'm coming across and obviously how well I can get a sale. And I suppose really that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, awesome. And the thing is, as you've just pointed out, whether or not you get this sale or this new client is beside the point because this experience has actually taken you from the mindset of, am I going to keep doing this? Should I do it? Is it worth it? To having hope, which is a beautiful thing when we're transforming, to going, you know what? I reckon that this is a goer and I'm going to keep going. The difference between giving up and losing faith to having hope, like that moment is one of the most powerful moments, I think, in my humble opinion. That is a major key of success in life, full stop. whether it's growing our business or deciding whether we want to get up in the morning and do stuff, it's always that decision. Am I not? Am I not? Will I give up? Will I fail? And they could be many things, right? Or they could be large life things. But when you build the muscle of deciding, you know what? Yep, feels uncomfortable, feels a bit shitty, but I know my bigger why and I know I'm going to do this, so I'm going to push through it. And then you realize, oh, wow, it's not as scary, it's not as challenging, it's not as hard. I did it. When you build that muscle, that's the muscle that we need to build in terms of resilience to build and grow our business. And then it gets easier and easier because you've got that stronger muscle. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. So good, Alicia. So excited. Any questions for you at this stage?
No, I don't think so, but thank you.
Cool. No worries. And who else would like to go next?
I'm happy to go next.
Go, Kate.
I'm going to warn you now. The child screaming in the background. I'm not leaving my child to scream. It's just my partner's trying to put him to sleep, and he doesn't like to go to sleep with my partner. So, please, I haven't left my child screaming in the background.
Bless your cotton socks. I can't even hear him. So,
Oh, he just can start and stop. So yeah, just so you don't think I'm sitting here thinking, oh yeah, whatever. So Tanya's not on the call, as you know, but just from our point of view, the biggest thing I think for this week is finally securing the arborist to not only do the marketing plan. So we signed off on that. We already presented that to him and he was happy with that. It's now that he has retained our services for the next 12 months or more.
Wow.
So yes, that is been a big thing for us because we had a massive learning curve around pricing, and also I think he might have been a little bit shocked. He knew the price, but it was more the way that we actually talked about, I guess, charging him for it. So that became a bit of a problem, but we got around that, thankfully. And yeah, he has signed up to that. He tried to back out of the services we were offering, but once we actually understood what value that cost brought to it, it switched his mindset around and back to actually why he would pay what he would pay. It wasn't the figure, it was just more that he wanted to pay monthly. So that was fine. So that was our biggest thing, I would say, at the moment. And then it's just now really sitting down with you, Esther, tomorrow and actually defining what our service is going to be. I think marketing is such a broad subject. We have to be very careful here what we actually say and how much we want to stretch ourselves, especially given that we're only doing this part-time.
Absolutely.
So that's probably where we're at the moment. Well, certainly me. I know Tanya's in the same position. So yeah.
Awesome. Can we all just go Yahoo? That is a massive achievement.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm not going to lie, the arborist is one of our friends, so it has made it a little bit easier because,
I'm not
but as you just said before, people buy from people, right? So
exactly.
There you go. So we have to take that on board.
Yeah, it's sure. I mean, having that trust factor is how we make sales every time. Mm-hmm. And because you're early on, your first couple of clients are always going to be people in your network. Always. Because as you know, with marketing, it takes time on social media or whatever other form of marketing you're doing to build the know, like, trust factor. You know, it's regular lives or regular posts or regular emails or whatever it is that, you know, you keep popping up in front of your ideal client's eyes and going, oh, this lady, she seems pretty spot on. She's speaking my language. She understands me. And they're building that know, like, trust factor over time. So your lowest hanging fruit for all of you is people that you know and who like and trust you. I mean, everyone on here except Kelly is someone that I know. Someone we've done work before, or we worked together, or, you know, you're a client in the past, or whatever it is. And Kelly came from the referral of Rachel. So Rachel, obviously Kelly trusts Rachel. So it's, you know, this is obviously the first time, as you all know, that I've run this course. So I didn't spend a huge amount on marketing because I thought, well, I've got people in my network and I just need to put it out there that I'm doing this. because my other service, as you know, is this, more, 5-figure package. And I've got, you know how long I've been running my business for. I've got about 6, just about to sign the 7th client who is on the bigger package. And that's because I've been doing marketing for a while, or they're repeat clients or whatever it is. But this was brand new, and I didn't spend much time marketing, and I filled it out with you guys in, 10 days or 2.5 weeks or something, because I thought, right, I'm going to get it out there to people who know. So it's going to be the same for all of you. Yes, there is some cool marketing things to do. Yes, there's, definitely we're going to talk about message, getting on, putting a message out there, how to convert people. There's all of that. But all of you have low-hanging fruit. That's probably not a great way to describe it, because I've just described all of you as low-hanging fruit, but you know what I mean? Like, there's people there who go, Esther, no, yep, like, yep, trust, yep. And it'll be the same for all of you. So that's awesome. Why would you put in 3, 6, 9 months of marketing activity to get strangers as your first couple of clients? It's like you guys launched a month ago. I don't even know it was a month ago. So that's awesome. Well done. And can I just say something I notice in myself, all of you and other people that I'm working with? We jump too quickly past celebrating and into got to keep going. That's because we're all driven, we're go-getters, girl power, or woman power. Actually, none of us are girls. But, that's who we are. We're go-getters. But what happens sometimes, and this is my experience from my past business, I skipped through all of the stages of celebrating because I was on a mission and it did nothing but burn me out, and I didn't fully embody the successes that I was having, to the point to this day that I'm starting to finally come to terms with some of the cool stuff that we did. But at the time I was like, I don't have time for that. I've got to keep going. We were presenting to boards and doing 6-figure campaigns. I didn't take a moment to celebrate that. So celebrate the moments now, because that's what will keep it sustainable. That's what will keep it enjoyable. And I want all of us to have our backs on that. This is how we're going to start all our calls, is a quick celebration, because there's wisdom in that too. And it'll help you understand, wow, actually, there's a lot to be grateful for and celebrate. And it'll give you the fuel to keep going. So well done. Awesome. Please be like that emoticon of the dancing lady in the red dress and do that dance around the living room when no one's watching, because I don't do that.
I will say we have celebrated. We took your advice on board.
Yes.
But the funny thing is, we went out for dinner and we went into this restaurant, and the first thing we saw were children, and both Tanya and I went, oh, we came for a night child free. So we sat at the other end of the room so that we went in.
And you ate dinner and you had a glass of wine.
We did.
Good on you. And was it fun?
It was.
That's cool. And there's more of that coming, yeah? So good on you. That's well done. That's really good. Can you tell us briefly, because I'd love to hear for you to share your wisdom with a group, what was the challenge that your arborist guy had in terms of the package or the pricing, or him not understanding the value? What did you specifically do to switch it?
And this is something we need to actually work out whether we're doing this correctly, I must admit. But one of the things that because we've started we've only just started, we're very conscious that obviously income is or cash flow is not there. So we've always said that we would like 50% of the deposit, let's say, up front, and then for the services up front. Just so then, we knew him, but that might not have been the case. And obviously we just wanted some reassurance that was going to go ahead. What the issue became, it wasn't the deposit, he paid that and that was all fine. It was that we then asked for 50% of the services over 4 months up front. And what he had an issue was, it wasn't the figure, it was that he had to, for a small business, fork out a certain amount of money for us. And he was also buying an office space at the same time. So for a small business, it was a lot of income going out in one lump sum. He would rather of it being split over a monthly period. And we tossed up this as well. We kept saying, should we do this or should we not? Which was actually invoicing him at the end of each month with the figure for the services we'd done. Look, you could do it both ways. It just depends on the person, I suppose. And obviously we know the person, so we're not in such a bad position about the way we've done it now. The only thing that came into his head was it wasn't the figure, it was just he didn't want to pay it in one go. He wanted it to be spread out over time.
Cool.
That was
So it was a cash flow thing for him too.
Yeah. And then I think what then happened was he said, all right, then if I'm going to have to pay it up front, I'll just do half of what you said or what I'd like you to do. And actually when Tanya spoke to him and said, well, he started focusing just on a website. I just want a website. Don't worry about the campaign and everything else you've told me about. Just do that. And I was like, well, no offense, but anyone could do that. And it became very frustrating to say, well, actually, you're not taking it back a step and looking at all of the things we could do over that time.
Yeah.
And once she had that conversation, he was very clear about, yep, let's pay it on a monthly basis and I'll still get what I wanted out of it.
Cool.
He wanted out of it. That makes sense.
It does. So you let him amortize or spread out the cost,
Yep.
rather than say, and I don't need to know your figures. I mean, tell me when we're doing the one-on-one.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
say, for example, the overall cost is 10K for the year. You wanted him to pay 5K now and then spread out the rest monthly.
Yep.
And he's there going, well, hang on a minute, I don't want to. So then you spread out 10K evenly over the months.
Yes,
Or
correct.
thereabouts, right? Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I like what you did. What you want to do, what you do not want to do. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Is have your clients dictate your packages to you.
No.
So if you need to have some flexibility, and I'm a big fan of either pay in full or spread out the cost, and each of you have taken different choices here with your investment with ABA. So having that call, but what I also do is if they're going to pay monthly, I do up the cost a little bit by about 10 or 15%.
Yep.
Because it does provide an incentive for people to pay in full.
Yep.
But it also covers some of your risk as well. Now, this is for people who are creating a package of services, which is what we're covering this week and next week, covering how to actually create a package of services. Now, Rach and Alison, I know that you're looking into that, and that's something we can pull apart in what you do. But the more, particularly in all of your other cases, packages work beautifully because it gives a really solid framework and has you in the position of power. Of course, you want your client to be powerful in making a decision, but when they don't know that A, B, C, and D, which is your components of your program, actually helps to create the transformation, they just go into scarcity mode and go, oh, I'll just have A and B, but not C and D, thanks. But they don't understand that for your case, Kate, you can have a website, but if there's no leads or a campaign to generate traffic there, well, then you may as well not have a website.
He pretty much said, oh, don't worry about doing the client. Because, for example, he hasn't met half of his clients. He's never met them. So
Nice.
Tanya and I were like, hello, there's the first step right there.
Low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, and he pretty much said, oh, don't worry, we'll do that at the end. Just do a website. I was like, oh, my God, I can't. So there was a lot of, oh, help. How did it get to where we got to? And this might go back to Alicia's point of actually we might have needed to have defined what we actually did and the things a lot more clearer to make it very clear that actually the steps become valuable together. And I take that on board. Like there's so much stuff we could have done differently, but it's a lesson learned.
Absolutely. And here's a hot tip for all the players out there. We will continuously do things, learn and change. That's like life full stop, right? Valerie, your visual doesn't show it, but I know that you're a couple of years older than all of us. And I'm sure that you can attest to that fact that life is full of those journeys where we go, oh, okay, that's not quite right. And you make a change and iterate the whole way through, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's life and business. So as long as you're learning, as long as you're as long as you are putting yourself out there to learn, that's when you learn, right? So there's a lot of people in business who think that failure is should be shunned, but I actually think it's one of your greatest learnings. Obviously, you don't want to keep repeating the same quote unquote mistakes. That's where it becomes like, wow, what is there to learn? But hello, who hasn't kept repeating a mistake in their life about something? And eventually, maybe after the 10th, 15th, 20th, 50th time, it finally occurs to you and you make a change. But I think once you've actually learnt the wisdom and then you apply that next time, that's the greatest thing going around, because you will know now that your first handful of clients will help define your pricing, your packages, how you articulate it, what you say when they come up with an objection. You know, I'll be able to teach and train you on that, but it won't become wisdom until you get your hands dirty a little bit. So I want you to make a few mistakes, and then I want you to learn from them. I made a whole heap of them. I'm sure we all have in various parts of our life. So it's a positive, because you've then gone, you know what, next time we're going to say this. And that's gold right there. So thanks for sharing that, because that helps us pull apart a real life example of what happens when a client doesn't fully understand the value of your offering. Therefore, the wisdom is, how can we more clearly articulate and define the value based on their perspective? Because it's so easy for you, particularly Kate, to know the value of marketing. You've got a degree, you've done years in corporate, you get it. But they don't. Just like we don't really know much about arborists. Like, I think they cut down trees. That's about it, right? So we just don't get their wisdom and brilliance. And I'm sure that he's probably so sick of telling people at parties that arborists are more than just cutting down trees. So we take our client on the journey. Same with a kinesiologist, same with a life coach, same with a photographer, same with business services, business coaching. Like, what does it mean? What are all those titles? They mean a million different things to everyone, depending on their situation, depending on their level of understanding and education. So the more we talk about, this is your problem and challenges, I understand, this is what you're looking for, this is the transformation you're looking for, and here's a process, a package, a step-by-step to help get you there, and this is the kind of outcome that you can expect if obviously all parties do what they were agreeing to. That's how you get people to understand. Instead of saying, I'm a marketing expert, I'm a life coach, I'm a, all the things that we are, people just kind of go like, what's that? Even a business coach, like, what does that mean? Some people get it, a lot of people don't. They just want to know, how do I start a business? How do I build it? How do I grow it? How do I get out of my own way? How do I do da-da-da-da? But they don't define all of those questions that they have with, well, a business coach, if she's a good one, hair flick, can actually help you with that, right? They don't understand that link, and it's the same with all of you guys and your clients. So yeah, and that's how we get clear, is we do more and more delivery, more and more experiences, trying to get clients, failing, signing one, but it felt weird, da-da-da-da. We go through that awkward stage of business growth and startup, and we push through it, and that's where we get all that wisdom. So that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Kate. Cool. So I think, Joey, are you on the line?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Cool. What is something you're celebrating this week or couple of weeks?
That's a very good question. I think, like Kelly, I've had a bit of a tough couple of weeks. My little girl's been sick, and work's been hectic and everything. So I think I've been trying to think about this while everyone else has been going through theirs. But I think my success this week has just been sticking with it, because I've had a few moments where I've thought, oh, it's all a bit hard, and, what am I doing trying to set up my own business, and I'll just pick at my day job and power through. But I haven't, and I've done the modules, and it's been really good to focus on something other than the day job and on the business. And so like you just said, it's being open to learning is in itself has been like a bit of a learning curve for me. So yeah, that's probably been my success this week.
And that is awesome. That's a massive learning. Again, I think that is life's secret for successful people. The people who go, because there's so many things that can be hard in life. Kids get sick, husbands get sick, bathrooms flood, whatever, like life happens. And I know a lot of your personal stories because I either know you well or we've had one-on-one sessions and you've been courageous to open up to me. And I know all of us have got some pretty hectic stuff to deal with at varying times in our life, or things pop up. And the fact that we all make that internal click and decision to go, yep, today I'm going to keep going. And that's like a daily commitment, right? It's a daily commitment to decide to get out of bed, to decide to go for it. Sometimes the alternative happens. Sometimes we fall into a heap and have a good cry. I'm a big fan of doing that. It's good and cathartic. That's a really good option sometimes, is to surrender and release and let it go. But then we dust ourselves off and we give ourselves a massive pat on the back to be courageous in having that vulnerable moment. And we remind ourselves of all the things we're grateful for, remind ourselves of our why. Why the hell are we doing this whole business thing? There's got to be a deeper reason. Not everyone is as crazy as us to start a business. But if you want to start a business, it's like there's no other two ways about it. I've kind of been fighting it for a long time before I did it. And it's been the hardest journey I've had to go through. I know that there's so many other harder things in life, but it's been the most rewarding in terms of personal development, money as well, and doing stuff I love. And there's been so many things that I know all of you have gone through personal things that have been the hardest things you've ever had to go through. And you've all decided to come out the other end. So that is the key to, we keep reminding ourselves we're building this muscle. And one day it might not be great, but as Kelly so beautifully pointed out, tomorrow is a new day. And we get to make a call each day, like, how do we want to show up today? What do we want to bring to the table? Some days I just want to have a day in my pajamas and have a good cry. And if that's what I need in that moment, go for it. But the next day, fresh start, So Joey, that takes a lot of courage. So thank you for sharing that with us as well, and making the call to stick at it. And we've got you back.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks.
You're welcome. Awesome. And any questions for you, Joey?
Not about the content specifically, but I just wanted to know if I've been trying to access the modules through my phone. Is that possible?
That's a good question. I think Simone was asking me that, and I believed I'd fixed it, but that might not be the case.
I wasn't able
Yeah, because I wanted to listen to the videos in the car and I haven't been able to.
I couldn't either.
That's interesting. Do you know something I want to celebrate this week? My husband has decided to come in and help me in my business.
Oh my God.
For those that know my husband, I'm doing a massive, if some of you can't see me, I'm just like
He's graduated from your techno guy to your what? Your head. He's
my CIO, CFO. He is just like a tech wizard. Like, this guy does not understand that he's one of those people that just gets technology and does it. I'm there like, and I've given it a good whirl. I've built out ClickFunnels. I've got my campaign set up, but I am surprised I've got hair in my head because there's been a lot of this happening. And I probably will give that a red hot go too. But then I get to say, hey, Quentin, the girls have said they can't get it on mobile. Can you just have a look into it? No worries. Yeah, it's fixed. I probably take a day to figure it out. I'm celebrating that, and I will get my CTO onto it. He'll fix it and get back to you, okay?
Can
Thank
we
you. That'd be great.
well?
He's so expensive. I mean, what I need to do to get that help, no.
I love it when you say, my husband and I.
I know. Someone who's
Sounds so lovely. It's like music to their ears.
As soon as the words fall out of my mouth, I still giggle like a little girl, like, oh, I've got a husband. Thank you, Valerie. That's really sweet. No, he's awesome. So, in short, I will get him onto it, Jojo. And the rest of
Thank you. That'd be great.
No worries. Now, Valerie, what are you celebrating and what are your questions?
Well, I sort of feel a bit, conceited here because I've had a hell of a week. It's just, I did put my my uncomfortable things, which grows and builds my life coaching business. I did a little Excel spreadsheet. I don't know whether anyone got a chance to look at it, but everyone else is flat out. But I actually did it. I marked things down, all the difficult things that I couldn't do, like downloading the ebook, The Big Leap, and then actually started reading the book. I booked a one-on-one call with Esther, which was awesome. I signed up for Calendly for my future appointments with my clients. One of the biggest things I did was I started really actively networking and requesting meetings with my clients, and doors just opened, and I had meetings with senior managers from the Department of Human Services, and also had another successful meeting with the foster carers group. And it's through these meetings that I discover how little they know about their departments, or where they think I might be able to fit into to their team. So yeah, it's been a really good week for me, really positive, and doing things that are in the too hard basket has led to other things. For instance, I've been invited to be a guest speaker at an event on National Sorry Day, which is coming up on the 25th of May. And for me to be approached to do that is a great honour. And it's with a group of Catholic Year 12 students in Toowoomba, and I'm going to make sure they've got Channel 7 there. And I'm going to make it an event. I'm not just going to get up there and go, my name's so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. No, bullshit. I'm going to actually do some promotion. I'm going to hit them hard with a few historical facts, and I'm going to have my card ready, and I'm going to do business. That's what I'm doing. I'm not just going to, welcome to country and all that nice fuzzy stuff. It's going to be a little bit more than that. It's going to be heels, it's going to be makeup, it's going to be product, it's going to be, it's going to have all of that. So, and I'll have it filmed. I get my husband to come along. He'll be my techie. He'll film it. I'll put it on Facebook. It's going to be bigger than Ben-Hur, I think. So, and I applied for my business blue card. I didn't know that you had to have a business blue card if you're working with little children. If you're a business contractor, I had a blue card in the past, but I just had to sit there for a few hours going through all the paperwork and then go and get the bloody documents signed and by witnesses, by JPs all over the place, and fork out another $80, and it all takes time, but it's all knowledge. And if I don't have all this documentation ready, if I go into the workplace and I don't have that, I could be in trouble, with legally I could be in trouble. So I have to have all those bases covered. And so I did manage to celebrate as it's just strongly suggested on Friday. I went to my dance class and just rocked my socks off. And I went to something. Oh yes, I had a pedicure and I had a manicure in the afternoon. So which I normally wouldn't do. I don't want to be that fussy. But now that I'm going to be presenting on stage, I want to really look my best.
You go, girl.
celebrated like that. But now it's a new weekend, and I've got another big meeting tomorrow. I'm still trying to define who my ideal client is. Is it going to be young Indigenous people or non-Indigenous people who are transitioning out of foster care into the real world? Or is it, wait for it, is it going to be the new NDIS group of people, the National Disability Insurance Scheme people who are just rolling out the Commonwealth government is rolling out funding now in our region. So there's a big workshop meeting tomorrow in this region, and I'm going to it. I'm going to take the whole day to go to it and see if maybe that's going to be my ideal client. I don't know yet.
Okay, cool. So I'll specifically, go drill right down into what you're talking about. You want to be clear on who your ideal client is when you need to market, promote, and put a consistent message out there to attract. Yeah. Now, with your young Aboriginal person transitioning from home to the world post-school, you will be getting that work from the DHS. Now, yes, you need to, and Valerie did not mention this, that the DHS, she's met with them and they really like what she's all about and have requested a proposal to move forward, which is massive. So that, I think, is a huge celebration because you took the courage to go to the meeting, you knew what you were talking about, you had your message clear, and they said, great, let's go to the next step. Yeah. It's massive for government. Like, that's a headache to go through that system. So but for you, I think that you can play around in the field of, yes, you can explore the NDIS, yes, you can explore the DHS, because if you find a program that fits with what they're after, a package of services that fits with what they're after, and it lights you up, then you don't actually need to be doing much marketing to attract that work.
Exactly.
Right? So for me, some of my income comes from my lecturing. Now, I don't need to do any marketing to get that work. It just, they've signed me up, and for whatever reason, they keep asking me to come back. So, that's work that I do. But all my other work, I market for.
Yeah.
So, I'm working specifically with women, mostly in corporate, but I attract all sorts of women, as you see, who want to start and grow their own business. They're skilled, all like you all are. They've got all the qualifications, the experience, but they're just figuring out the what, the why, the how, the when, and I help them with my program. So, but the Macleay work and the odd freelance work I've done in the past, that has just come to me. Because of who I know in my network or whatever, and it's the same NDIS and those two departments. I hear a little. They are.
Sorry, that's mine.
That's all good. Those two are people that you.
Oh, sorry. I might have to go. Sorry, but sorry to interrupt. Lovely to talk to you all. And I'm going to have to check out. Sorry. Bye.
Take care. See you later. So you don't need to do consistent marketing to those two groups. Once you go through this business development stage with them and you define that there is an opportunity for you to do work and you decide, yes, I like doing it, and yes, I've got a program and I'm offering, sign them on, start working, and you get to make a decision down the track if you want to keep doing that work.
Yeah.
But you're still in trial testing mode.
Oh, yeah. And I don't know why I do it. I did it at university. They said pick a topic, and, they said you can pick any topic to research. It could be underwater basket weaving if you like, but, I have to pick the most complex top groups. I don't know why, but I just do. And you're right. The Department of Human Services the clients might be too traumatized or too difficult to deal with. It might be right out of my scope. I don't know.
Yeah, and you won't know until you give it a go, right? So it's not out of your scope because you've got your master's, you've got your coaching certification, you've got a whole lifetime of experiencing all the things that in it's your call whether you share that with the ladies, but there's some serious full-on things, right, that you can help these kids transition with. And so, yes, you're credible. Yes, you've got the experience and you're qualified. That's not the question. It's about whether or not down the track you want to keep doing it because it does or doesn't light you up. And we only know that by experience.
Right.
So,
and I know this in my heart. That's why I'm going to explore the NDIS tomorrow. It's a free event. I've registered. I'll go along. I've got a bit of an idea of all the lingo. I've been looking at all this stuff online, and it's great. And so
give it a go. And I think for you, yes, there's a package and exploring with NDIS and NHS, but there's also I think your key message that you want to market consistently and you want to sign people into your program is the corporate Aboriginal woman or man who, is out there working and wants to become, have better health, have a better career, have, using your coaching skills to help get them from current reality to desired reality. That's something that you can do regularly. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good. I think I'm about to somehow lose power, so I'm just going to quickly plug in.